The most, let's say, tough matchup to pick for anyone, Denver and the LA Clippers. A lot going on both sides. Could go either way. I think most people feel it is a toss-up right now who is going to win. Steve, we have been talking about this series back and forth for the last couple of days about who we think is going to win. I did tell you last night during the show meeting that I was really undecided. Well, I was kind of decided, and I was going to sleep on it and make a decision today. I'm here to tell you that I still really don't know. And I would like to present my arguments for why I can't decide, and I want to see if you can convince me to make a decision. So to start with the Denver side of things of why I am optimistic. Obviously, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA right now. I think this is probably, without doing too deep of research, his maybe best season ever in terms of just individually. And if there is ever going to be a time or a place where he proves himself in the playoffs, it is going to be here and now. There is truly not much other upside to Denver besides Jokic, but I think he is that much of a positive. And I've said this on the show before. If Denver's going to make a run, it's going to be on the back of Jokic, even though we have never seen that before. Again, if there's going to be a time, it is here and now. Jamal Murray, who we have said steps up a little bit in the playoffs, at times can take over for Jokic and, is a danger unto himself in the postseason. Jamal Murray hasn't played more than 4 straight games since the beginning of March. So his availability and his health and what he's going to do, we'll see. In his last 5 games, he's averaging 11, 5, and 5. Not super great. In the last series we saw him in, the 2024 Minnesota series, where they obviously lost to Minnesota, 18, 4, and 4. That's just not going to cut it. Denver, with their current state and their depth and the team they have, Jamal Murray needs to be doing better. We clearly have not seen that this season. And whether he'll be able to get back to that Jamal Murray, I'm not entirely sure. It's just not something we have seen yet this season. And obviously, with their coach being gone, that is never going to be a great thing. David Adelman, less than 5 games underneath his belt. How is he going to fare in the playoffs? How is he going to make those adjustments against one of the better playoff coaches in Ty Lue? Again, I have no idea, but it's certainly not something I am confident in Denver. On the Los Angeles side, the Clippers within the last 3 seasons, well, they didn't make it in 22 in the playoffs. So the 21, 23, 24 season, they have played 30 playoff games. Kawhi Leonard has been there for essentially half. Not a great outcome. Now, Kawhi Leonard, obviously, it's almost unfair to say to any player, well, they can get hurt, because that can happen to anybody at any point in time. But Kawhi Leonard, clearly, with his injury history and pattern, it is totally, I think, fair to say I am concerned about his health in the playoffs. He can die at any singular moment. I mean, the last 2 postseasons, he's played 4 games combined. So it's just not in the cards for him, apparently, to be staying healthy in an entire postseason. James Harden, we are also aware of his playoff woes and how he is the opposite of what we've been talking about players that regress in the postseason. Now, James Harden in the regular season for the last 3 years straight, he has gone from 16, 5, and 9 to 21, 6, and 11 to 21, 7, and 11. Those are his last 3 seasons. In the postseason, he went 21, 4, and 8, lost in the first round, 26 and 8, lost in the second round, and 18, 6, and 8, also lost in the second round. So playoff Harden, as we have known for years, is a true thing. Now, in the first round against a team like Denver, who I kind of just got done saying may not have all the horses, how much pressure is going to be there for him, I'm not entirely sure. I think where James Harden is going to come into play is that maybe not every single game he is bad or the whole series, but this is a series I think no matter who you pick, it's going 6 or it's going 7. James Harden's going to have at least 2 or 3 games in general of bad performances. But I think in almost every single game, there's going to be a moment of, what the hell was that? Like a complete blunder, like blowing the game, and James Harden is going to be, I think, the product of that. So with their 2, weapons not being great in the postseason, with Denver really not having any weapons besides Jokic and not being a super deep team themselves. I am just having a hard time putting a flag on either side of where I want to make my claim. So, like I said, I have reservations on both sides. I'm hoping you can maybe steer me in the right direction of where you think I should go.
Me personally, I'm taking the Clippers in this series. Now, here's why I'm taking the Clippers in this series. James Harden is playing some of the best basketball he's played in the last couple seasons currently. With Kawhi Leonard only playing 37 or 38 games of the season this year, he got the Clippers at one point in time. I think they were the 4 or the 5 seed in the West. They were playing really, really well. They kind of came out of nowhere. I remember looking at you one day and saying, were you aware that the Clippers are the 5 seed? Kawhi Leonard has been in the first round 11 times in his career. He's only lost 3 times in the first round. James Harden has been in the first round 15 times. He's only lost 4 times his entire career. Since 2015, I think he's only lost twice in the first round, actually. And if Kawhi Leonard can continue, like we've said, yes, there are injury concerns, but the way he's playing leading into these playoffs give me a lot of hope for that. This is the healthiest I've seen him in a while on the court. You also have their third man, Norm Powell, averaging 20 points a game. All 3 of them this season are averaging over 20 points a game. Maybe Harden doesn't need to be the guy that's putting up 35 and 11. When he has a healthy Kawhi and a healthy Norm Powell who are scoring the way that they are, if he's having a bad shooting night, he can step back and just turn that 11 assists into 16, 17 assists and just become a facilitator. We have more questions surrounding the Nuggets than we do the Clippers at this point in the season right now. The Clippers look healthy. They're dominant. They won, 9 of their last 10? And we've always had questions about Jokic's ability to play defense. We know what he can do on the offensive end, but the Nuggets as a whole have had questions about defense in certain areas. And 3-point shooting, for one, is the biggest thing the Clippers have. The last time that Jamal Murray was having injury issues and the Nuggets needed to rely on Jokic, we saw what Jokic did. We have history of him not being able to lead a team without another star next to him. If that helps you make your decision one way or the other, I just think that right now we have less questions about the Clippers than we do about the Nuggets and their cohesiveness on the court with all of the turmoil that's just happened.
Does Denver having home court concern you?
You have 2 veteran playoff guys. So yeah, playing in Denver's hard, but Kawhi Leonard and James Harden aren't guys that they have lots of playoff experience. It doesn't concern me as much because I think with the veteran presence you have on that team, if it was a bunch of young guys we were relying on with home court advantage, I think it would matter to me more. But because it's Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, guys who have both been to the finals. James Harden didn't win, but Kawhi Leonard is a 2-time finals MVP. He knows what it takes to get the job done. So I'm not that concerned about home court advantage.
I would feel so silly if I ignored the last 5 years of playoff history of Kawhi Leonard and James Harden because I'm not necessarily disagreeing with what you're saying. It does make sense that, or I shouldn't say it makes sense. I do agree that they're playing their best basketball right now and, they're peaking at the right time, but I feel like we've heard that story about Kawhi and Harden before, that we have gotten to a place where this might be it, and then we get to the playoffs, and Kawhi Leonard is leaving in a stretcher, and James Harden's nowhere to be found. Jokic is playing so good right now, and they're gonna have obviously the best player in the series, but then the Clippers probably have the next 2 best players, you would say. But again, when the playoffs start, I don't know how true that is. And maybe Jamal Murray, I know I just got done talking about how he hasn't been as good in the playoffs, but like you're saying with Kawhi and Harden, if this is the year that they can kind of get it together, can this be the year Jamal Murray figures it back out since the championship run? I feel like in my head, I'm trying to convince myself to pick the Clippers, but I want to pick Denver.
Either argument's a good argument.
I think
I'll listen to either argument. I think this is a lot closer than people are thinking this is going to be.
I think I'm going to go Denver in 7.
Okay. I mean,
I think
as I
think
said,
that's
when you pick a team to win in 7, it's literally that means that it's going to be a series that literally could go either way.
they're also not Clippers. The Nuggets are also plus 100 to win. So either right now, the Clippers are favored to win the series. So I guess
Interesting.
we'll see. It's a toss up, like we've been saying. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Denver, LA. Who you got? Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.